next guest is a spiritual mentor and author who left a successful music career to pursue her passion for helping people finding their soul's purpose and finding eternal fulfillment. Please welcome the one and only Ronny Hatchwell. Welcome to the show.
Thank you,
All right,
darling.
so you have a very interesting background. Tell us about it.
Well, I was actually born in Israel. At 3 months, my parents went to what was then Rhodesia in Africa. And when I was 9, we then moved to London. And so most of my schooling was British. But I've been here since '77.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you had quite a successful career in the music industry. Tell us what you did.
I was there for 25 years, and I managed a couple of companies. One of them was EMI Israel in the publishing. My forte was copyright, music copyright. But I found always that I was speaking to the musicians through a different language, because I realized that if they didn't understand that they were delivering something, then they'd be stuck all the time. And whenever their ego got involved and they thought it was them, they got stuck.
Right.
You know, so...
No, you always, you know, having been a mystical, a spiritual person, and I know you've incorporated in your way of life, but what made you make the switch to kind of pursue this full time?
Well, they actually just closed the office at some point because EMI was being bought by Sony, and I found myself outside of the... And the funny thing was that year I knew I didn't want to do it anymore, but I didn't have the courage because I was getting paid really well. But it was just made, the decision was made for me, and I found myself outside and realizing that I've now got the opportunity to really live my true vocation. I was doing it at the same time, but you know, very, very in certain intervals. But now it's like my full-time thing, and I love it.
Thing. And so tell us about the book. It's The Secret of Effortless Doing, Be It It Will Be, which is based on your method. So explain kind of the simple terms to people that haven't heard about it yet.
So, Be and It Will Be is actually in the name. Whatever you're being, that's what will be. So we forgot to be beings. We're human beings, but we're thinking most of the time. What we do in this method is that we're actually cleansing. We don't deal with the outside world. We fix everything internally. We don't educate anyone. We don't tell them how to live their lives or what to do, but we do our own change work inside ourselves. And when we do that, it literally changes our outside world. And we do it in 3 ways. One thing is first to recognize that the traits I see in you is me, because I'm the one in charge of my experience of you. I don't even know if it's you.
Right.
So you might be a square and I might see you as a triangle, and that's going to be the dynamics between you. So if I consider you to be, say, a miser, it doesn't matter what you're going to do. You're going to bring me flowers. I'm going to say, oh, she probably found it in the street, because I have to justify the way I feel about you.
Right.
It doesn't make it true.
Right. And a part of like kind of the way you work, because you know I see myself and you've helped me as well, is you know really getting out of your own way. It's really about the mind is really, and the ego are really, you know, the enemy to our souls in many ways. Explain how that's so.
Well, the ego and mind are friends. The ego is always wanting, and it always wants what it can't have, and it always wants what there isn't. So, I mean, at this moment in time, this is where our life is. But
right now you want to eat a cookie and you can't.
And the ego wants the cookie. Exactly. So where's it going to get its information from the mind, which is a database? It only remembers what it thinks it knows. It never even remembers what happened. So say, if I do this and put it down, and you're talking on the phone to me, you can't explain that to me. What are you going to say? Sponge table, I won't understand. You've got to tell me a whole story. So it always remembers the story and not what happened.
And the story is not the real, you know, from the soul perspective, the story is hogwash.
Irrelevant. I mean, I was taught about Henry VIII. What do I remember? Knuckle duster and 8 women. And I don't even know if he existed. But history is his story. Somebody told a story.
Right.
I say, let's make our own stories, you see. And if I know that I'm the only one responsible for my own life experience, I can right now change the experience I want to have.
And how do you do that?
By changing my state of being. Because nobody really knows if you're thinking you're the Queen of England inside.
But I am.
Yeah. and when you feel that, you radiate that.
Right.
Okay, but in order to get that, I have to do some cleansing. I have to get rid of the memory DNA, which means that my mind remembers things. It's going to keep reminding me of the things it remembers, and I'm stuck, and I want to live life.
So, and then you're stuck in your own prison, because if you're blaming things on other people or blaming things on your parents in your childhood, you're the only one really getting hurt. So, like a lot of also what you explain is that everyone is a mirror for where you need to cleanse.
Yes, and
Elaborate
you're
on that as
hurting
well.
others, and you're hurting
And you're
others.
hurting
You know,
others.
if I call my daughter in New York and I say I'm not feeling well, I've ruined her day because I didn't take care of me. And at some point, people used to say to us, "You're selfish if you take care of yourself first," but it's the other way around. If you take care of you, you've now got a lot to give.
Right.
So it's basically a cleansing method. We don't do anything else other than cleansing. We cleanse the past. You know, you can't fix the past. You can forgive it.
Right.
That's why you say you can forgive, but you can't forget.
Right.
So basically, it's a cleansing method, and I think that if everyone did that, we'd have no war. You know, because this is a war of minds. Everything that's going on.
Well, there's so many ways to kind of implement your method, and we're going to be able to have you on regularly to kind of expand on it. But it is just really, it's such a simple practice that really makes such a difference. You know, it really is. So thank you so much,
Thank you.
We'll see you again soon.
Thank you so much.
Meanwhile.